Haven't seen it yet. And now for equal time. The boxing expert most likely to dispute the absence of Rigondeaux from the list is HBO boxing analyst Max Kellerman, who joins us now from Los Angeles. Welcome, Max. I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me that the man now called Rigondeaux by boxing fans is definitely number 3 on the list, right behind Mayweather and Ward, correct?
Well, only because it's true. I mean, we pay so much attention to who's bringing entertainment value in boxing. I think there's a tendency to forget it's primarily an athletic competition. And when you say something like, well, no one's breathed on him yet, so I can't rank him that highly in spite of the fact that he's fought Donaire and some other very good fighters, what you're really saying is he's too good. If he wasn't as good, I would rank him higher. Think about that. These are the same arguments that were used against Pernell Whitaker, Roy Jones, and Floyd Mayweather, because there was a sense that we didn't want these kind of fighters to be the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. But with apologies to Chavez Sr. and Pacquiao and Mosley and Trinidad and De La Hoya and all these other more popular in certain respects at certain times fighters, the truth is, the reality is, that over the last quarter century, those are the only 3 number 1 pound-for-pound fighters in boxing: Whitaker, Jones, and Mayweather. And Rigondeaux may not please everybody, but he beats everybody by wide margins.
He landed fewer than 20% of his punches against Agbeko. I want to see that part of his game elevate. Let's go to the Fighter of the Year general discussion, starting with Timothy Bradley. Did he do enough?
Bradley, to me, is a Fighter of the Year. Oh, my God. See, there's some wiggle room now. Now we're talking about what did you prove? Did you capture our imaginations? And Bradley had this epic fight against Provodnikov, which I thought from that moment on, I thought that was the fight of the year. Bradley was fighting unconsciously. He didn't know where he was. He admitted right after the fight he was concussed early in the fight. Oh, I don't know if another fighter in boxing, I was going to say almost, I'm not sure another fighter in boxing would have survived that fight in the trouble Bradley was in early in that fight to go the distance, period, let alone to come back and win. It was amazing. And then he outboxes the great Juan Manuel Marquez. That's the Fighter of the Year to me.
What about Mikey Garcia?
Tremendous, technically excellent, real power puncher. In addition to that, had a great year, no question about it.
The 2 light heavyweights with 4 knockouts apiece, Adonis Stevenson and Sergey Kovalev. Which, if either, made a bigger dent?
On paper, Stevenson, because this year, in this calendar year, he avenged his only loss of his career by knockout. He won the lineal title by 1-punch first-round knockout. He beat up by showing a new part of his game and outboxing the once heir apparent, stopping him. And then he took on a sanctioning body mandatory and stopped him. He barely lost a round. On paper, it looks like he did the most, and in terms of his profile, maybe. But in terms of who showed they were the best fighter, Kovalev fought basically the same level of opposition. You could make an argument actually his opposition was maybe a little better at the time he fought them, and he obliterated them in a way that has me believing that he's actually the best light heavyweight in the world.
Danny Garcia only fought twice but kept his unbeaten record going. Will he get some Fighter of the Year consideration?
He should. All he does is fight his butt off and win. And the funny thing about Garcia, because he is a puncher, because he doesn't have an Olympic medal, he's not perceived exactly accurately, I don't think. He was a top amateur, held his own in all the amateur competitions, and he's much more athletic than people give him credit for. He's a tremendous fighter.
And Gennady Golovkin, still no true marquee opponent yet, but what a year.
Oh my, Golovkin, I watch and suspect he's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And it's not his fault that he hasn't proven it yet because of various promotional issues and the fact that, with other fighters in the Cold War you mentioned, and the fact that, it takes a lot to get these guys in the ring with him because they know they're going to take a beating. Golovkin is a dominant fighter. I suspect he's a top pound-for-pound fighter, but the names on the resume this year, who he's actually beaten, I don't think quite elevate him to that point yet. But, mention Triple G to even a casual boxing fan right now. They want to be there when he fights.
All right, thank you very much, Max. And you're on record as saying that Timothy Bradley is your Fighter of the Year.
No question about it.
It's not an easy choice.